Join this community, guys. Hit that subscribe button and thumbs the video up if you enjoyed this video. So Mr. Dillian Whyte has accused Anthony Joshua of basically cherry picking, basically having easy money fights. That's what he's accused Anthony Joshua of, basically being a Deontay Wilder. So let's see if what Anthony Joshua says. Let's see what Dillian Whyte says is true. Let's see if Anthony Joshua is a cherry picker. So let's go to his box rec, and in his last fight, he defended his unified titles against Alexander Povetkin. Now, Alexander Povetkin is a guy with like an 80% KO ratio. He's also a guy who's a former WBA heavyweight champion and who only had one loss, which was against, of course, Vladimir Klitschko. Right? Former champion, one loss, just came off a brutal one-punch KO win over David Price. Prior to that, he defended his belt against Joseph Parker, an undefeated heavyweight who was the WBO heavyweight champion of the world, to become a unified champion. Then he fought Takam, a fighter who only loses to legit opponents like Alexander Povetkin, right? And a guy who, by the way, in my opinion, was beating Derek Chisora before Derek Chisora beat him. Prior to that, he fought Vladimir Klitschko, a guy who was a long-reigning champion for about, 9.5 years, nearly a decade. Eric Molina would probably be the only opponent that I believe was an easy fight for Mr. Anthony Joshua. That's it. This guy right here, Eric Molina, was the only title defense, in my opinion, that was a foregone conclusion, that everyone knew what was the outcome. We all knew Eric Molina would lose, right? He defended his IBF strap, all right? Prior to that, he fought Dominic Brazil, an undefeated fighter, right? Prior to that, he beat Charles Martin for the championship belt, another undefeated fighter. And prior to that, he fought Dillian Whyte, right? So if we analyze his last 4 fights, we could see that these aren't easy fights. Alexander Povetkin is not an easy fight for anyone. Alexander Povetkin is a knockout artist, right? He's a guy who, if he catches you with a left hook, you might find yourself in the canvas, right? Hitting the canvas unconscious. Just ask David Price. Just ask Takam. Just ask several heavyweights that he's fought. Joseph Parker was undefeated in his prime. We don't have to go there with Vladimir Klitschko. So I don't understand how these are supposedly easy fights for Mr. Anthony Joshua. Maybe he's getting confused Dillian Whyte with Deontay Wilder's resume. Because if I look at any boxer, any heavyweight boxer's resume, any current heavyweight champion, the only one who has an easy, in my opinion, title reign as a champion is Deontay Wilder. Okay? Last year was Deontay Wilder's best year. All right? Facts. Anthony Joshua has been testing himself since before he was even a champion. He fought you, Dillian Whyte, and he beat you. You are right now, Dillian Whyte, a top 10 contender. He beat you, Anthony Joshua, when he was just a contender. Right? And you really think highly of yourself. Dillian Whyte thinks that he is heavyweight championship material. And I believe he would be if Anthony Joshua wasn't around. The fact is, Anthony Joshua fought Dillian Whyte, fought Alexander Povetkin, fought Vladimir Klitschko, fought Joseph Parker. These are legit quality opponents to defend your belts against. Right? So I don't understand where this is coming from, where he says these are easy fights. Because as far as I'm concerned, Eddie Hearn is saying that the front runner will be Dillian Whyte himself to face Mr. Anthony Joshua. So I guess he's calling himself an easy opponent then. Is Dillian Whyte calling himself an easy cherry-picked opponent? Because that, if he's saying he cherry-picks easy fights, if he fights Dillian Whyte next and he beats him, is he a cherry-pick as well? You get what I'm saying? So it's not his fault that Deontay Wilder is ducking him. That's not his fault. Deontay Wilder's been avoiding Anthony Joshua just like just like he avoided Vladimir Klitschko, just like he never fought yourself, Dillian Whyte, just like he never fought Joseph Parker, right? So, and don't even give me, I don't understand. I see some people saying that Tyson Fury, that Anthony Joshua was avoiding Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury was irrelevant for like 3.5 years. So how could he possibly be avoiding him? He was irrelevant. He wasn't around. Yes, he made this big dramatic comeback, schooling Deontay Wilder, but before that, he was irrelevant. He was, not fighting. So it wasn't Anthony Joshua's fault. So again, how could he be ducking him during those 3 years? All of a sudden he comes back, he gives Wilder a hard time. All of a sudden he's ducking him. He's afraid of Tyson Fury. Anthony Joshua himself made a tweet way before Tyson Fury made a comeback and then told him to get fit. Because he wanted to fight him. That's what he told him. He said, get fit and we'll fight. So I don't understand what people are saying that he's avoiding him. So anyway, guys, that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching.